Very, very interesting. Devin Haney is already in Saudi Arabia for his upcoming fight with Brian Norman, while Brian Norman is right here in the States. Will this matter? Not that much time to figure it out before the fight, but I want to break down in this video, give you guys some things to think about. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I made this post. It says Devin Haney already in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for his upcoming fight, while Brian Norman is still in the United States, right? Now, I know some people, I've been doing this for a long time, right? And no matter what I say, no matter what I do, you'll have contrarian people who they'll find a way to try to argue the opposite. I think it's just the internet, right? Like you can say the sky's blue and then someone will say it's blue-gray, or not to me, I don't see blue, I see red. It don't matter what it is. People are going to find a way to disagree. So some people will be like, oh man, Ego, you make it a big deal. Am I? I'm just making conversation. I like this move for Devin Haney, and I'm going to explain why. All my years in boxing, I know this. Styles make fights, and also, and this is not a fight prediction. Like, I think that's what a lot of people confuse. If I say something positive for this person, they think I'm picking against this person. If I give credit to this person, they say I'm against this person. Again, I've been doing this long enough to know how the game go. This is not a fight prediction. I'm not in it for anybody. And I just want to talk up. See, I think people are so used to the clickbait style of content creation that you see on the internet and emotional beta male fueled videos, like these emo videos you see from content creators, low quality content, right? To the point where they think everybody operates like that. I'm a grown man that's been doing this at the highest level. I don't have to pick sides and all this goofy stuff, right? I'm not an emotional person in general, right? But why do I like this for Devin Haney? Like I said, in this boxing game, I've learned a few things. Styles make fights, and when you have a great fight, like let's say a 50-50 fight, 60-40 fight, a close fight on paper, usually what it boils down to is these little minute differences, like, okay, this guy could box better. This guy has a better jab. This guy has a better chin. This guy, cut his workout short, and then this guy did extra stuff, right? So you got to look at all the intricacies of the fight. I really like this fight. I've told you that I like this fight, and I'll be covering this a lot. But why I like this for Devin Haney is because one of those like preparatory things is acclimation. I think experience, like just overall having experience, either you have it or you don't, is something a lot of people miss. Devin has the experience advantage over Brian Norman for sure. And for me, part of the experience is making like team decisions to, for example, go to Saudi Arabia. Now, I can prove to you that Devin's in Saudi. You see him being greeted by a sheik, and they're gifting him. They're showing the hospitality that they show over there, and they're gifting him with some flowers or whatever. So he's over there right now, right? In their gym, dealing with their weather, their terrain, and their time zone, and acclimating while Brian Norman is still here in America. Now, again, the contrarians, the usual suspects, they're going to be like, oh, this doesn't matter. Brian Norman's still going to knock him out. It's not a fight prediction. I don't care about that. I'm saying Devin is experienced. So he fought in Australia twice. So this is a decision that I like by having a fighter who's not from Saudi Arabia go out, get adjusted to the particular weather this time of year, the time zone, because all these things in a close fight, they work out to be the differences when you look at it, right? Like a difference could be Brian Norman's power, and if he got a better chin than Devin Haney, you know what I mean? That could be one, but this is something else. Now, just to give you guys an example, as of me recording this video, it is 5:02 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, right? 5:02 in the morning, 5:02. Brian Norman is from Georgia, so he's there still. And the reason I know this is because he has a media day tomorrow, right? It's 9:03 in Atlanta, Georgia. So you have a bit of a different time zone, right? It's already 5 in the morning in Saudi, right? And it's still nighttime for Brian Norman. And he has a media day tomorrow on Thursday in Atlanta, Georgia, right? So while Devin is already getting used to and acclimated to his surroundings and the conditions, Brian Norman is going to probably get there, I don't know, like a week or two ahead, depending on what. Whereas Devin, he scheduled his media day. He already had his media day. You know what I mean? That's probably been over a week and a half at this point. So that is a smart move, an experienced move from the Haneys in terms of get your media day out of the way. Because here's another thing. And some people are going to be like, oh, you're nitpicking. No, I'm just talking life. And in life, sometimes things come up. Like you'll have a member of your team and they got a felony, or their passport or their visa is not updated or something like that. And then they have issues with travel. So if you only give yourself a smaller window and you leave a week before, then you got to discover and figure all these things out just before your fight, which could be another headache. Or let's say you get to the airport and you go through TSA and all that type of stuff, and you get to Riyadh and then they lose your bag. Or you get to the airport and you realize a vitamin or something that you need, or a piece of equipment or a mouthpiece, whatever, that may be harder to get in Saudi Arabia, depending on whatever the item is. When you have your trip so close to the date, you run the risk of potential headaches before your fight, where you're in a good fight, a dangerous fight. Your focus should be tunnel vision, right? As I'm showing you on the screen right now, from now till fight date, there's only 17 days. So today is pretty much over, So you're about 2 weeks out, and you still have, as I mentioned, the media day tomorrow. So you got your media day in America. I don't know if you're packed and you're ready to go outside of that, but Devin got the jump on you, and so to speak, he got the head start by already being out there. Any hiccups you could have, any jet lag, that's another thing. And the funny thing about jet lag is this: when I was younger, I didn't even understand how jet lag worked. What I mean is, I understood what the term jet lag meant. I'm no dummy. I knew what it meant, but I had never experienced it. So I'm like thinking, maybe, is this an old wives' tale? Like, you know how your parents would be like, don't eat and then go swimming because you could cramp up and all that type of stuff. Or don't go outside with your hair wet, you're going to get sick. So I didn't know if it was some practice that people had. I never really experienced it. However, when I started covering boxing and I was bouncing around so much, living a whole different life, like, because before I would take it when I was younger and stuff, I'm just taking trips like on a vacation or something, take a flight, go on a vacation, come back. and I was younger, right? So it didn't really affect me. When I got older and I started doing this, covering boxing, that hit different. I promise you on everything, it hit different. Because I remember one of the most brutal stretches, because I've been here for like prime boxing in the digital age, right? One of those stretches, I went to Omaha or Lincoln, wherever it was. It was in Nebraska for Crawford versus Indongo when Crawford became undisputed the first time. So I'm there for these historic moments. So I was in either Lincoln or Omaha. I was in Nebraska for the Crawford fight. Came home a few days. Then Floyd Mayweather fought against Conor McGregor, right? I flew out from Cali to Vegas. So from Cali to Nebraska, back to Cali. I was home for a day or two. Then I flew out to Vegas, which is not far. It's like an hour flight for me from the West Coast, West Side. But still, I had just got back from the Crawford trip. Went to Vegas, covered Mayweather McGregor. I don't know what you're thinking. Shut your mouth, mate. Right? Covered that. Had a ball. Probably the biggest fight I've ever went to. Right? And I came back for another couple of days. And then Canelo fought. Hell no, guys. Hey, Max and guys is nothing. Triple G. The first fight. So I've been there for these historic moments. Crawford's first undisputed. I was there. Mayweather McGregor. I was there. Then right after that, you had Canelo first fight with Golovkin. I was there. So that's what I'm saying. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. All these poo-butt rookies and people like will tell you they're the best, but they don't have these type of experiences. But anyway, back to jet lag. The point I'm making is I never felt it. But when you start traveling, you like it's almost like a waste of paying rent as well, because you have to pay rent for where you live, but then you're never at where you live. You know what I mean? And all that moving around and like taking your shoes off at TSA. I don't have a PJ, so I do it the old way. You know what I mean? Through the airlines or whatever. And take your shoes off, take your laptop out and all that. It's draining. So Devin Haney, it was a smart move to go to Riyadh a bit earlier. You get used to the people. And I know he's been out there before for fights or whatever, but it's different when you're fighting. Whereas Brian Norman, you know, like I said, any type of hiccups or lost luggage or jet lag, any of that, you have to deal with when you get there. For example, I have trouble with insomnia, right? So sometimes when I go to new locations, I'm still on Cali time, and my sleep schedule is indicative of Pacific Standard Time, like California time, as opposed to being on whatever, Fiji or wherever I'm at time. So that could be tricky for a boxer too, right? Also, the time of day that they're gonna fight, you gotta account for all this stuff, right? I don't know exactly what time of day they're fighting over there, like what time it'll be in Saudi Arabia, but it's a smart move for Devin Haney to already be out there. I think one of the things that hurt Wilder when he fought Joseph Parker, and I'm not making an excuse for him losing, maybe he would have lost no matter what, but Joseph Parker, if you look it up, see, I told you I'm boxing's encyclopedia. There's no one like me. There's no one that has this stuff mechanically engineered and just give you the facts off the top of the dome. But anywho, Joseph Parker fought in Saudi Arabia months before he fought Wilder in December on that Day of Reckoning card. Wilder got to Saudi Arabia a lot later, and coming from the UK to Saudi Arabia is probably not as bad as coming from Alabama, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Oh my God, to this day, you know what I mean? And in addition, Parker already had a Saudi Arabia fight earlier against like a tune-up fight, and he had been more active. So between activity, already having the Saudi experience and fighting in Saudi, so you know, like different people, like when I went to Mexico, the air is different in Mexico. right? You know what I mean? It's just what it is. So you got to factor in all this stuff, right? I've been to Denver, Colorado. The air and the altitude is completely different. Some people have trouble breathing. So this is an experienced move from Devin Haney ultimately to get out there a little bit sooner than later. So I like it. Doesn't indicate he's going to win the fight, but it's just something to factor in. Let me know how I did in this video. Subscribe for more boxing news.